Hey everyone, Pinchial here, and we're back. On today's episode of Pinchial's Service and Repairs Garage, we got a Kia Sportage, and its current issue, it needs an axle. So let's get to work because this is Pinchial's Garage. All right, so this customer gave me a call and asked me if he can diagnose this car for him. I said, yeah, sure, let's check it out. Came over, dropped it off, and immediately found the problem right here. You'll see there's a torn boot. I know it's kind of hard to see, but it's torn. And to confirm that the axle was already blown, pretty much turn it, and it immediately started just going cluck, 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 cluck. So you can go about this two ways. You can order a boot kit, fill it with grease, clamp it down, call it done. Hopefully that solves the issue. However, this customer said he's been driving the car like this for weeks, and that's kind of not going to solve the problem. Now we have to really just replace the axle in whole, because if we actually yank on the axle itself, you'll notice it's got way too much play. And that happens when the balls on the CV joints, the little bearings on there, are wasted. Pretty much they're already on their way out. Re-greasing them could solve the problem for a temporary $30 fix, but we need a new axle, so we ended up going to AutoZone. 220 bucks for a brand new axle. It's a little steep, honestly. I mean, the most I usually pay for axles is usually about 60 to 100 bucks, and that's very spicy, I'll tell you that. But the customer wants their unit fixed, and I'm gonna take care of it for them. First things first, before we do any work on this car, we jack it up. Place a jack stand. I have my jack just there chilling. It's not really doing anything. Jack stand right on this frame rail. You'll see there. Next, we're going to remove the wheel. They use 21 millimeter sockets, so for the nuts on these. And then we're going to find the cotter pin right here. You see here, there's a little flat cotter pin. We're going to bend this with some needle nose pliers, bang it out, and then we're going to get this nut off. Now that we have this guy removed, straightened out, we're gonna yank on it. Now make sure you have extra cotter pins, because usually when you take these out you kind of wreck them and you don't want to reuse them anyways. Yeah, once you get it there, you want to get a little hammer and knock that out, and then get the next step going. Once you remove the cotter pin, you're going to get a screwdriver, cram it in between the rotor and the caliper here like this. This will prevent the rotor from spinning. You already got studs, so it won't break anything in place. 32 millimeter socket and a big old breaker bar. Got it? And you're gonna take this guy off. Usually these aren't very tight, so especially because they have cotter pins. All right, now with that done, you can smack that guy out to as far as it can go. And the reason why we want to push it out is that we know that it's loose in there, because now we have to remove the ball joint so we can take the axle all the way off. Next step, the ball joint. The ball joint has 2 16s on the bottom and 1 16 on top in a triangle formation. You're going to want to break them loose first. If you can. Whoever put this on last time was really not joking around. All right, I got to get my breaker bar for this guy. I'm not going to try to break my ratchet. Well, if you're like me and removing the ball joint wasn't successful because it's seized on, or whoever the previous owner or previous mechanic worked on this decided to send them to maximum strength, I can't remove them. So next step, if you can't remove the ball joint, then you have to go to this next step, okay? We're going to remove the 2 bolts here on the shock. It's held by a 17 and a 19. 17 nut and a 19 head on the bolt itself. Zip those off. Do not remove the bolts. You're gonna remove the line for the brake right here, which is held by a 12mm right here. You're also gonna remove the ABS ring right here, sensor wire, which is right here on this side with another 12. And then you're gonna need a 10 to remove the actual ABS sensor right here. You guys can see that right down here, this guy. And then this guy pops right off. Let it swing aside. Once you do that, you're gonna remove your bolt from here, from the top, and then the bolt from here in the bottom. And you're gonna allow to let this drop forward towards you. And the reason why we want that is we want to turn this to the right as much as we can. So we give the brake line as much leverage as we can because we don't want to bend and yank on the brake line too much and damage it. So if you're at this point right now, I recommend just put one of the bolts back on top. Turn the wheel to the right as much as you can. This will allow the brake line to have more free play, and then you'll drop this forward, and then the axle will just pop right out. All right, now with the wheel turned, again, you're gonna wanna pop this guy off. See if I can get you guys mounted here. There we go. Okay, that's done. You're gonna pull forward on this and you're gonna push back on this on the shock. Kinda wanna let the shock pop itself off. Separate the two. Okay. Now we have access to the axle. We're just gonna push from the other side. It should pop right out. Just like that. Axle's now popped off. Keep in mind on this brake line to not let it overextend too much. Okay, you'll notice the brake line itself is not being pulled on. I flipped it over onto the other side of the actual spindle. Now we got to pry from the back by the transmission and then pry the axle out using either a flathead or something to make it come out. We got our pry bar and we go underneath here. And what you're gonna do with the pry bar, you'll see right here, you're gonna get into this little lip and you're gonna pry using against the back of this, pull towards and away from the transmission and then pop out your axle. Once that's done, yank it out, pop in your new one. And I'll get you the part number for that. First thing you want to do is verify the length. Make sure the length on both ends are the same. Match up the splines. This is not going to matter as much, but you get a brand new castle nut and a new washer, locking washer, and then we're going to get a brand new cotter pin because it didn't come in the box. Part number for this guy. Oh, they did give me a brand new cotter pin. Haha, I lied. Part number for this one will be 15162N. I'll get you the bigger one. Oh, it's ripped. Okay, well, it's part number 15162N. Retail, I mean, I got it for $207 actually. You see right here. I ended up paying $229 under my commercial account at AutoZone. All right, let's get to work and let's reinstall this. The same way that you yanked out your axle is the same way it's going to go back in. So we're going to feed it through here. And then you're going to go back underneath. You're going to slide it in. Now it has a locking pin, so it's going to be not very easy to push back in, but you'll get it. There you go. That was actually a lot easier than I thought. Usually they give me a lot of trouble. Then we're gonna magically do that. Now, it's up to you if you want to grease up the splines to allow it to get in easier. Sometimes it is, sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to try it without doing it. There we go. Now, what we want to do in this scenario now, we want to turn the wheel back to the center position, and then we're going to be able to bolt it all back on. Now that we centered it, we're going to get these bolts back on. Everything goes in by hand, remember that. So 17 and 19 is what holds these two together. Then we have the 12 that holds the brake line. Right here. And then you have a 10 that holds the, where is it? The ABS sensor down here. And then the other 12 that holds this holds the ABS wire right over here. Okay, torque spec for the axle nut, 200 foot-pounds up to 215 depending on the model. We got, what is it, 60 foot-pounds on the axle, on the strut mount here, 10 foot-pounds on the brake line and the ABS sensor lines. That's it, nothing crazy, and that's it. After that, go put your wheel back together and give it a test drive and see if the clicking went away. If the clicking still persists, there might be something else wrong with your car. For example, if there's too much angle, that means the CV axle is binding, so it's twisting at an angle too much where it's causing it to bind. That happens either to a failed strut, also a bent spindle can cause this as well. Very important thing, when you do this as well, heads up, it does mess with your alignment a little bit when you swap this out. So be ready to get an alignment job after you remove all the suspension and put it all back together. It happens, it's part of the process. It's not guaranteed to be perfectly straight, but it's guaranteed to get the job done. Once you're done with that, thank you for watching this episode of Pinchial's Garage. Pretty much a service and repair channel. For everybody who enjoys this, please give us a like and hopefully you enjoy all that. And please follow me for more tips and tricks on more car repair. All right, peace out, guys. Have a wonderful day.